Jumping back and forth over to LA?
Yeah, I haven't really done much work in LA this year. I spent a lot of time last year. My puppy's trying to get on me, man. So I'm gonna
Okay.
stand up. Yeah, that's crazy. She's annoying.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent much time in LA this year.
Okay.
I ended my weekly out there on Thursdays, my weekly Poetic Soul event
Mm-hmm.
I was doing out there. In September, only to focus, more intently on the things that I was doing out here in Phoenix. And LA was cool. It just became more of a, I think my dog's gone. It started to become more of like work,
Yeah.
And not that I'm a stranger to work or allergic to work. Not desirous of having to put in work for a thing. But Phoenix was already flowing in such a way that it just felt too much like a distraction from some other things I need to work on. So
Okay.
yeah, so I put it down for its time. I figure I'll circle back to it.
What's up? That's what's up. Still making those connections, of course.
But yeah, of course, it's a way of life.
Yeah, definitely. How's PK doing?
Oh yeah, PK's good. He's working on a few different projects.
Yeah, I see him out there. So I try to catch up some of his videos as well. So
yeah,
cool.
yeah, he's rock and rolling.
All right, man. I want to make this pretty, seamless, man. I think this will be a great thing for entrepreneurs, whether they're starting out, whether they in the middle, whether they've been here for years, and this should kind of get some feedback from entrepreneurs like yourself. So what I want to do is, tell people about you and what you do.
Well, as far as the work that I'm involved in daily out here, I'm in Phoenix, so I produce a weekly experience called Poetic Soul through my company Cosmic Qadance LLC, and Poetic Soul in and of itself, Phoenix. I'm on the phone. This dog's like a baby, man.
I know. No worries.
So the experience is a weekly open mic of sorts,
Okay.
where it's a platform that's created for poets, rappers, singers, comedians, storytellers,
Mm-hmm.
Anyone to essentially come in and be expressive in the arts. And it's a live show, live band, live production, around that meaning. And it takes place every Wednesday in Phoenix from 7 to 11. That, in addition to just producing other events that give artists such as PK, who you mentioned, some of the other artists who I frequent space with and share space with out here. I just give these artists a place to showcase their art, and to also likewise bring the community together, which is really powerful. So to bring the community together in a different way around art and entertainment. Especially given that the indie artist, has such a struggle, which is not, it's a reality, just that indie artists have a struggle, trying to launch themselves into space.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular platform gives the recurring opportunity for members and constituents of the community to come out every single week and just enjoy what indie artists, give to their art forms. And so we draw out we had 180 people last 2 weeks consecutively, 180 last 2 Wednesdays. But we put as many as 300 people in the building, over the years, and as little as, 50, 60 people. But consistently well over 100, for the last 2 years.
Okay.
We'll celebrate our 3-year anniversary with that experience here on April 20th, so next month. Presently at something like 155, 156 consecutive shows. We haven't taken a Wednesday off.
Okay.
So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So that is one such production that my company produces, and then I was working on a bunch of other things, like I mentioned, just creating different platforms for those artists to kind of showcase their art and to share what they do. Yeah.
And so, about how long you've been doing this? So I know a little bit about you, but for those who are kind of listening in or will be listening, how long have you been in this space as a business owner?
business owner. Yeah, so I've been producing Poetic Soul, like I said, for almost 3 years. Poetic Soul itself. So I've been doing events, hosting events out here for probably a little long, about 4 years. Hosting events here in Phoenix under my company for 3 years, professionally, or going on 3 years. I believe, it's 3 years. Actually, it's 3 years. So I started my company in at the beginning of 16.
Okay.
Or end of 15. Yeah, end of 15. So we've just been cranking ahead. We had events popping in 16, in the calendar year of 17, and now in 18. Yeah. So, So it's I have a background in event planning, event hosting. I was working for an entertainment company that moved me here from D.C. To Arizona. What they did is they put on a performing arts competition 3 times a year at Disney World. So I had an opportunity working with that company to kind of get my feet wet and to really kind of build a passion for creating platforms. That particular company hosted those events. They hosted a performing arts competition at Disney World for kids ages 6 through 17. So in that, we had an opportunity to help to launch these kids into their dream space. Those who wanted to be actors or models or singers or dancers. And so to do what I'm doing now, just kind of feels really good that I'm able to provide these opportunities. My dog's biting my couch pillow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you're not gonna talk? I can't get it in your lap." Phoenix, don't chew on my pillow, man. What are you doing?
Oh man.
But yeah, so it gave me the opportunity, having the opportunity right now to do so for adults. To give adults kind of a springboard and an opportunity to share and to be a blessing. I'm nowhere near on the level of getting people onto TV and in commercials and stuff like that, as I was doing with that entertainment company, but still providing a recurring space, where people can come out and
so you took what you learned and developed from that job space and then recreate and put it to your home, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what's up. Exactly. That's what's up, man.
And then more than that, I think that the thing that I appreciate the most about what we're doing is that, again, the community comes out, 100 plus, 200 plus people a week.
Wow.
And what they get out of the experience is the most important. It's a space for healing. It's a space for community. It's a space where people literally come in and just engage in acts of positivity. You know what I mean? And it's a thing of beauty. Yeah, it's a thing of beauty to have, not just in this community, but I'm sure in any community.
Yeah.
Broad scale, just to have a safe space where people can come to and just kick it and be themselves and make friends. And a huge knock on Arizona for anybody who's outside of Arizona is that people of color, Black people especially, don't like each other, and we won't talk to each other. We won't. There's no culture here. You'll hear all kinds of things about Arizona, and that's actually true. It's just true in a lot of ways. So us coming together frequently and consistently actually just gives us the basis to dispel those rumors. So I consciously and audibly say this to the crowd of individuals who come out every week. And I thank them for coming and for destroying this notion that we won't come together. So I like to point out actively so that people can kind of grasp the moment that we're actively destroying these mindsets and mentalities and maybe these truths in a lot of ways. So in a lot of ways, so I'm tremendously grateful for the responsibility that I'm charged with to build community in that way.
And that's what I experienced when we were hanging out in LA at the club. I mean, there was an environment of inclusion. There was a gambit of different, people, poets, rappers, people who were playing instrument. That type of vibe was just very attractive. So that's very good. I mean, if you amplifying that in Arizona, that's awesome. And you do get this the sense that and African Americans aren't always inclusive in those spaces. So what you guys are doing is really good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's everything that you mentioned, even everything that you experienced there in LA. So just giving people, I think it's important that we, whether I'm doing it or whether somebody else is doing it, it's important that we find and seek out these spaces to come in and where we can just relax and take a load off, and we don't have to, quote unquote, be a certain way. I don't have to be the guy from work. I don't have to be anything other than what I want to be or what the mood and environment calls for. And those aren't always rowdy, ruckus environments that are club oriented. It can be around just performance art, or it can be around conversation and communication. It can be around arts and crafts. It can be around food. It can be around games. You know what I mean? So game nights, potlucks, like all these things that we will typically do or engage in just with our friends. You know? So who is, as an adult, consciously carving out brand new spaces to build friendships? So I'm not sure how many people are consciously doing so, but I do know that it is still important for us to learn who's around us, to identify the resources that are around us and that have come into our fold. I meet people all day, every day. I'm certain that you meet people all day, every day, and most of the folks on the call or who are listening or looking at. And the bottom line is, if we keep this mentality, like this no new friends mentality, it'll be possible for us to really level up, because we're meeting people every single day, and these people that we're meeting come into our lives, into our life spaces, workspaces, entrepreneurial spaces with resources. And they individually maybe sometimes are a resource within themselves. So if we close ourselves off, then we're in trouble. So we have to seek out ways to meet new people, to figure out around us and figure out how we can all benefit, one another, from one another, and be a help and an assistance to one another.
So in the last 3 years, what would you say was kind of like your pain points? Where were some difficult areas, maybe building up, starting out, connections? Where was your pain points at?
I would probably say time management. That's essentially it.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
I'm one of the kinds of people that has like a million different ideas, like right now. I have a million different things that I need to do. So it's really about managing the time effectively to assure that things get done, and that you stay task oriented. I'm like a, easily distracted person too, because I have so many different things that I want to do. So I'll break from one task and start working on another one, in a sense of kind of multitasking.
Yeah, that's me.
And sometimes it's necessary to just focus on the one thing, to be, one way, or to just be mission focused on the one thing, so you can knock that out and then give all of your time and energy to the next project. Which, in fairness to the next project or the next task, that it gets your undivided attention, kind of helps and assures that you do the most effective work on it, So I would definitely say time management. There sometimes just seems to be, and there's not enough time in a day to do all of the things that I want to do. I don't think I'm ever at a point where I'm just like, well, I've done it all. Like, no. Sometimes I've learned to put it down, also.
So in my business, I have to definitely make adjustments, of course. We come from a very similar background. So, there's a ton of, things that we're thinking about that we can do to strive for. And we want to do all those things as quickly as possible and get people engaged and get people connected. So that's definitely something that I can attest to as well in my business. So with all that that you're doing, what's your long-term goals with that? What's your endpoint? Where do you want to be at?
For the most part, and this is a new thing for me, so this will sound really crazy to probably everybody listening. Probably it'll sound crazy to you afterwards, but I don't really care. It's supposed to sound crazy because it's my mission and it's what I'm doing, and kind of how I'm going to charter out with the remainder of this year. So every single year, I came into the year with this plan, right? These goals and this plan for the year. Like, I'm going to launch this experience in a few different places. I'm going to take this experience outside of Phoenix, and I'm going to launch it in LA. And I want to, LA is so close, Vegas is so close. So those are target markets for me. So hotbeds for entertainment. So I'm just going to focus on franchising out into those cities, right? And then I charter out to do that. And successfully, I was able to do so at a venue on Hollywood Boulevard in LA. And it was beautiful. I had to literally walk across Hollywood Stars to get into this thing. Like, yo, look at this. Like, I grew up seeing these things and not being from LA, being from DC, and like, yo, like this was a big deal, like these stars on the ground. And the bottom line is that I accomplished, that mission. But what happens to me and to probably a bunch of other people, I'm certain it's not just specific to me, when I feel like when I focus on doing a thing, right, so I can accomplish anything, there's nothing that I cannot do, right? So if I set out to do it, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it to the detriment potentially of something else that I'm supposed to be doing, right? So I'm going to give my 100% to producing this event in LA, which I did. Every single week, I travel from Phoenix to LA after holding Wednesday night's event here in Phoenix, or the experience here in Phoenix. We then drive up to LA the following day, and produce the experience and then drive back on Fridays for 9 months. And that's not to say that from a business perspective, like all 9 months or, every single week was a lucrative week financially. Some of those weeks I took a loss. But because it was a goal of mine, I probably continued to do that longer than was logical, right? Okay. But it was a goal. It was, I have to accomplish this. I got to do it. So I held myself to the standard of having to make it successful because it was a goal. Mm-hmm. So coming into this year, I told myself that I wasn't going to set any goals. I was going to set any goals. I was just going to stay cognizant and be mindful, of the things that I want to do, in terms of growth and growing my business. But at the same time, I wanted to be fair to the opportunities that come, along the way. And a lot of opportunities, presented themselves in the space of me driving to LA or commuting to LA every single week that I wasn't able to take advantage of because I was commuting to LA. So I was like, nope, can't do it Thursday. Gonna miss out that on Thursday. Now, it will be easy for anybody to say, well, that's just a commitment. You have to miss a lot of things on Wednesdays in 3 years, right? Yeah, that's true. But the thing on Wednesday, and not to say, it's just because it was bearing fruit. I'm happy to miss out on those things on Wednesdays, but partially, yeah. Primarily, we should be involved in activities that are gonna lead us to, the end result. And the end result for me, or the desired result, rather not end, but the desired result for me was to build community and to build community successfully here. And that is what, I accomplished. However, wanting to do so, just having a desire to do so in another city, wasn't the initial vision. That wasn't the vision that was given to me for my business. That's just something that I decided to do as we went along. I was like, man, how much greater will this be to take this experience and drop it in another city or multiple cities? But that wasn't the vision. So I have to stay true to the vision, also the vision that was gifted to me, and then the responsibility to the portion of the vision that is absolutely working. And it's easy to be fearful, I think, of stretching yourself or pushing yourself. I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying stay small. That's not what I'm saying. Right. What I'm saying that the vision was to build and to cultivate and to create a product, then build and cultivate and perfect that product. Give your all to that product before putting this pressure on yourself. Now, so I made 6 figures last year. Now I made 150,000 last year. Now this year I have to make 300,000. Like, okay. But if you don't devise a plan to make 300,000, that means you just need to double. Logically, you say, well, I just need to double my input from last year so I can make 300,000 this year. Well, that's dumb, and that's illogical because there are a lot of factors that help you make 150K this year. Some that you haven't even considered, a lot that you haven't considered, where some customers came in and bought huge because they just had the capital to do that. So they contributed to $50,000 of that, came from one client. Mm-hmm. But you're not thinking about it that way. You're just like, I just got to double the output. So you just have these goals to do it, and you're working yourself to the bone. So when I mentioned earlier that LA started to feel too much like work, that's what I meant. It started to feel like work, and it's not supposed to feel like work. No. So it shouldn't be stressful. Entrepreneurship comes with its own set of stresses, but it's not. I think that there's a piece that comes inside of the flow, the thing that we're supposed to be doing. And once we figure that out and figure out how to manage our time effectively, we can get the most out of get the most out of our effort that we put into the thing, and that's the most important.
That's great, man. I have actually gotten to that similar point in business because I was running myself ragged. I was here and there, traveling back and forth, doing things that essentially other people wanted me to do, and it was outside of my ultimate goals. And again, I say this frequently that all money is not good money. So, to your
No.
point, is where if I made my first $1 million and I want to double that, then what do I need to do? I need to break my back? Do I need to spend more time away from my family? Do I need to miss
Yeah.
events? I mean, those things start adding up, and then
Yeah.
you realize that there's no balance there, that the
Yeah.
quality of life, and then within perspective, is gone. I mean, you're
Yeah.
working more than you're enjoying and reaping what you sowed.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that something that it's a literal exchange
yeah,
of the same things that you hated about work, hated about your job.
that you're
Your
now doing.
business all of a sudden begins to take on that same climate, and that's because of behavior.
Right.
That is that's just poor behavior, poor mindset. Around the thing we've been trained that we have to work extremely hard to get to a point, and that we should exhaust ourselves in a lot of ways. And we've been taught that means success, and it doesn't. I mean, it can for you. If it does for you, that's cool, but that's not my idea of success.
Right.
So there comes a point where you have to define for yourself what that is. And that's what I hear you saying. You have to define what success is for yourself.
Definitely.
And then once you define it and are able to define it, you kind of understand, or you gain an understanding of the boundaries. You'll set some boundaries for yourself. You'll set some rules of engagement. And that's important. That's the only way that we can balance ourselves out. It shouldn't feel like work. We shouldn't be burning ourselves out trying to get to this mount called success. It's just in the interim. Sure, we're building businesses, and you have to do a lot, right? It requires a lot of energy, a lot of time for us to get to a certain level. Yes, absolutely. Are you supposed to expend time and energy in building a thing? Yes. But should you exhaust yourself to the point of near malnourishment and
mentally,
stress,
physically, yeah, all that.
And I don't sleep, so I want people to truly understand what I'm saying. Maybe this sounds like a complete contradiction, in that sense, but I literally don't sleep. So I've had periods, especially I can just point to the last week, where I stayed up 48 hours straight. And it wasn't because I'm saying I don't want to sleep. It's just because my vision for what I'm doing is bearing fruit and it's working. So I'm so motivated and inspired by that I cannot sleep.
Right.
I'm just wired up, and I could just lay down and try to force myself to sleep, but I'm okay. I'm awake. So there is a point where we can push ourselves, but there's also that moment that we have to realize, and we have to set some rules, for ourselves, and to establish for ourselves, what is a break.
Right.
What does it look like to take a step away from your own? If you were to employ someone for your company now at the present moment of building your business, if you had to hire a couple people and they were like, oh no, I'll work for you for free, right? And so you still hire them as employees, and they say, well, what do we need to do? And you say, well, you need to stay up I can't say, well, you need to stay up for 2 days straight at least. Nobody's signing up for that.
No.
Nobody's signing up for that. It's not realistic.
That's an entrepreneur's lifestyle. That's an entrepreneur's lifestyle.
Right. So if that's not realistic for someone else, and you say, well, it's not supposed to be realistic for them. It's supposed to be realistic for me because it's my business. But it's illogical. So we shouldn't work ourselves, and we shouldn't be thinking, in that regard.
Right.
So we just have to be careful. We have to be careful how we brand success and what we are honestly looking to achieve in that. And then some might be thinking, even as I say that, well, that's the point of setting goals. I'm like, no, that's not the point of setting goals. The point of setting goals is to achieve a goal, is to achieve a mission. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Well, also the goals are to kind of keep you from kind of not going so far
Deviate.
wide. I mean, yeah, you need some bumpers, right? You know, think about bowling alley. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to go too in the gutter all the time. You want to kind of keep it on the lane. So you know, the goals will kind of keep you focused. But like you were mentioning before, you know, those goals, though they, you know, ultimately you want to achieve those, you know, you have to have some balance.
Yeah. So for me, I think if I have a mission this year that is literally to just improve, the experience on Wednesday nights, especially, and also just to add some others, you know, here and there. So you say, well, you know, what kinds of, how do you want to improve it, you know, specifically? And I can get specific about how I'd like to improve it. Those aren't necessarily goals for me. You know, I don't have a goal to improve. I have a mission to improve it. I want to change and tweak some things. I want to add some different things to the experience. I don't have a goal to for instance, increase turnout by 50%, you know, so 25%. So I want to make sure that, you know, I don't, I don't, I want to be able to provide the best quality product, you know, for people to feel good about coming to spend their $10 on Wednesday nights when they come to see us. I want it to be worthy of their time and their energy. And those are production points, you know, so that's some stuff that, you know, for me, I have to be able to have the mindset to see and perceive what I'm doing and what we're doing in this environment, and then to understand how we can improve on the model so that it continues to become a better experience. Also launched another company here just recently, and that's what I'm saying. So as people are like, oh, you don't have any goals, that's not going to work very long. I was talking about poetic soul. So even the shirt that I'm wearing right now is a line that I introduced here. So I'm like literally sitting down right now on my laptop. This phone's like leaning on my laptop. I have this, you know, this vinyl cutter here. So I'm producing like all kinds of apparel here at home, not just t-shirts, but bathing suits, and I'm customizing like all kinds of different things.
Right.
Yoga shorts and whatever people request. I'm like, sure. Yeah. You like the images? Absolutely. I can brand them on anything. And so even in launching that, it has been quite the experience, you know, I'll say, because right out the gate, after sharing, you know, a few of the designs on the internet, and then in person, you know, people just went crazy for me. Like, I need it, I want it, I'm buying it.
Right.
So, you know, it put me into an instant space of production, you know, and also in profit, you know. So this has been quite the experience here, and it's only been a month. And it's been quite the experience, very, very lucrative. I created a second stream of income immediately last month after launching it.
That's right.
And
awesome.
And for me, that goes back to the point that I was making about setting goals. I did not have a goal coming into 2019 to start another business.
Mm-hmm.
But I did give in taking some time to step back from working myself to exhaustion after traveling to Dallas to perform back in February, first week of February. I realized, I said, oh, I'm doing it again. I traveled the last couple of days. I was in flight yesterday all day. It's Saturday. I need to do nothing today.
Mm-hmm.
I need to give today to nothing.
Right.
I am going to stay in bed and literally do nothing today.
Okay. Yeah.
I laid with my puppies and we just cuddled and chilled.
Right.
And I slept until about 12:30, 1 o'clock p.m. And laying in the bed, I was thinking, I'm like, yep, this is going to be a chill day for me. I didn't check notifications on social media. I didn't check email. I didn't return any text messages. I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take an opportunity today to get some of these creative ideas out of my head and down on paper. And I knew that one such creative idea to get out of my head and down on paper was literally this design.
That's awesome, right?
This design in my mind, and one such for queen and a prince and a princess, entire royal family. And I gave some time to that, about an hour or two, to design, and came up with the design and worked on all 4 of them. And then I wanted to see it on a shirt. So I was like, man, I'm excited. I was excited. I said, yo, look, I want to see this now, what it looks like actually on a shirt. So I drove to a shop that I know will customize it for me on the spot. that I wouldn't have to order, it from and wait a couple of days. I just went right in and pressed one for me. And I obsessed over it all night. I was like, man, I want to see all of them now on a shirt. And I took that shirt the next day and I wore it out to a popular Sunday spot here. And I posted the photo from that Sunday night, on my Instagram on Monday morning. It just broke the internet, completely broke the internet.
Awesome.
And when I say broke the internet, I mean like people just went crazy in my space.
Yeah. Definitely.
And from there, I was like, man, wait, orders started coming in. People started ordering them. Like, I want them. How much are they? I was like, I didn't even. I have to structure business around this thing now, fast. So
right.
Put me on a fast pace where I literally, I did not sleep for a few days, putting a couple things in place, filing paperwork and doing these different things. But essentially, I worked myself into the space of, like I said, because I'd given myself time to just kind of relax, I worked myself into an opportunity, right? Stumbled into an opportunity. Now, did I have a desire to create a few streams of income this year? Yes. But I didn't know specifically how, right? I didn't lay out specifically how it was going to be done.
Right.
And so I'll be starting my third here up, coming soon. And a lot of people who are Uber drivers and they're hosting Airbnbs and all those are businesses, or additional streams of income. So I'm going to do the same thing. I had an idea from a friend who has a 2-bedroom condo, like I stay in, and they started to Airbnb out the second room, create a second stream of income. And this friend was telling me, he says, no, yeah, the Airbnb doing that actually pays my mortgage every month.
Awesome.
So I'm able to pocket more money and invest money in different other areas, the money for my paychecks. Airbnb pays for my place, So there's smart ways that I was going to do the same things I'm saying. So there are logical ways and smart ways. I'm just thinking based on present day technologies and stuff like that, and things that are kind of the wave. But at the same time, we have to be open, enough to kind of receive the blessings when they come in. Now, does that mean that I jump on every single thing that a person pitches me, every business opportunity, everything that sounds good? No, I don't.
Right.
But if at least I'm open and receptive to some things, I'm not saying, nah, brother, I got too much on my plate. Don't bring me any ideas. I'm closed to ideas. I'm closed to pitches. I'm closed. I'm not closed to anything. But I do know what I'm focused on.
Right.
But at the same time, without having a goal to create a thing or to do a thing, I'm not putting pressure on myself saying, well, I'm going to create a coffee mug business and I'm just going to sell these money. If I have that as an idea, it's my mission. That's cool. I'm going to put the energy and the time into that. I have to kind of know what's going to come along with that,
right?
Whether that's successful or not. My point is this apparel. I created a stream of maybe about $3,000 last month in 3 weeks. Just selling custom apparel. And I was like, wait, 3 weeks, I can do $3,000. Like that's really good.
Awesome. Yeah.
So if I can give myself to throw in the time and the energy behind something that just instantly worked. It wasn't like me saying, I'm going to create markers. And I know that there's a market for people who need markers,
right?
Like Sharpies, because I own Sharpies. I own so many of them. So I'm just going to create some Sharpies, No, but nobody's ever purchased a Sharpie from me. And I have like tons of competition. So competition around branding and merchandising. Sure. Right. Yeah. But nobody's doing this one like this, Right. So right. Is there competition really? No. But I carved the lane and created a lane. And then I was able to just kind of seize an opportunity. And so that's all I did with the start of that other business, is just to seize an opportunity.
Definitely.
And so I'm excited about that and how it manifested itself.
That's what's up, man. Well, look, man, I love what we're doing today, man. This is like the part one. You are the trendsetter for us. So this is our first series, man. I'll be doing a lot more of these, and I would love to have you come on and do some more. And tell the people about what's happening with you. How business can be if you put in the work, stay focused, allow yourself to develop into a purpose that, is within each of us. So
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
appreciate the time, man. And always good catching up with you. Always good